Hi, I'm Daniel.
And I'm Kate.
And today we're going to be teaching you the skill of breaststroke. Over a 4-week program, you'll learn how to do the different movement patterns involved in the skill, putting them all into synchronization, and after this 4-week program, you'll be an expert.
This is the stroke you will learn and what it should look like. We will start with learning the kick motion. You bend your knees upwards, bringing your heels up to your glutes, and then extending your legs out laterally in a circular motion. This propels your body through the water, and this movement is repeated continuously. While this kick is happening, your arms are simultaneously moving. Your arms and shoulders fully extend above your head, and then your palms are rotated outwards while forearms and elbows are flexed. These are then moved in a circular motion while bringing your hands back in under your chin. As your arms are moving out laterally and starting to flex, your legs are bending and starting to extend. Your head is then raised out of the water and a breath is taken. The head is then lowered as the arms extend. At this point, the legs have kicked and the glide is pushing your body through the water in a streamlined position. Breaststroke is a continuous gross motor skill, so part practice should be used breaking down the skill into different body motions, simplifying each motion for the learner. This skill is broken down into 2 distinct parts, the arm stroke and the kick. When put together, this will synchronize into one complete, fluent stroke. When teaching the leg movement, we will start with the learner doing it out of the water so they can purely focus on the movement pattern. The knees are bent with the heels coming up towards your glutes. They are then extended out in a circular motion, then brought back to the starting position. A simple analogy for this is comparing the skill to a frog kick. It is the same movement and easy to understand. After this, the learner can progress by doing the movement in the water. They will do it holding the edge of the wall, and this allows them to feel the resistance of the water and feel the glide of the movement. We will then have the learner performing the kick with a board. They will then feel the glide of the kick while performing the movement. By the end of this week, the learner will be able to execute coordinated breaststroke kick in the water. A retention test should be used for this skill to ensure that the learner has not forgotten what they have learned in the previous week. So Daniel, what have you learned about the kick movement in breaststroke?
I've learned that the kick movement in breaststroke is exactly like a frog kick.
We then move on to the arm movement. This will be started out of the water, so again the learner can focus purely on the movement. The arms are extended outwards above your shoulders and head. They are then moved laterally in a circular motion. Then your elbows are flexed and brought back under your chin. An analogy for this is scooping the ice cream and bringing it back to eat it, or drawing an upside down love heart. These analogies act as verbal cues and foster positive transfer from a more associated movement. We will then progress the learner into the water in the shallow end where they can perform the movement. We also teach them to incorporate breathing into this. They raise their head as their arms are spread outwards, and then lowering the head as the arms are extended. Feedback will be used to encourage the learner and critique their movement and ensure appropriate motion patterns are established. The guidance hypothesis will be followed, and the feedback will be delayed to make sure the learner is not overloaded with information, and this can cause negative effect. By the end of this week, the learner will be able to incorporate the arms and breathing into one single movement. Daniel, what can you tell me about the kick movement?
I've learned that the kick movement is exactly like a frog kick.
And what can you tell me about the arm movement?
I've learned that the arm movement is like simultaneously scooping two bits of ice cream, bringing it to my mouth and eating them, or drawing an upside down love heart.
Good. This week, the learner will be performing the movements of the kick and the arm scooping in one motion. Mental practice is going to be used before the learner goes in the water. This allows them to visualize the synchronization of the movements, and then they can perform this movement in the water. As your arms move outwards in a circular motion, your heels will be raised up. The legs are then extended outwards, and this puts the two movements together. The glide phase is noticed in this motion, which gives velocity to the motion. Qualitative measures will be used by giving feedback and rewarding correct movement. The goal of this week is to complete both movements as one skill in the water. Another retention test will be used this week to ensure that Daniel has learnt all movements of the breaststroke. So what can you tell me about the kick?
The kick is like a frog kick.
Tell me about the arms.
The arms, again, is like scooping ice cream or drawing upside down love heart.
And what about putting both the movements together?
Basically, I'll put both the movements together in a more synchronized pattern. As my arms come out, my legs will be pushing through to allow more effective glide phase for my velocity. I'll also be breathing out of the water when my arms are fully extended out and coming back in the circular motion.
This week, the learner will perform the movement in the water while counting backwards by 3 from a given number. This will show they have entered the autonomous stage of learning and that they can focus on something else while performing the movement. Daniel, your number is 40.
Alright, 40, 37, 34, 31, 28, 25, 22, 19, 16, 13, 11, 7.
The goal of week 4 is for Daniel to complete the breaststroke movement in the water while counting backwards by 3 from a given number. Daniel has now completed the 4-week program. He is able to complete the whole movement of breaststroke in one synchronized movement pattern. From the use of retention tests, feedback, the guidance hypothesis, mental practice, and qualitative measures, all these learning mechanisms have joined to help Daniel complete the whole movement in one synchronized movement pattern.